Today is Wednesday, June 8th, 2011, and we are interviewing Walter Skolarz
Right.
at the Quincy, Illinois Veterans Home. Mr. Skolarz was born June
June 11th.
11th,
Right.
1939.
Yeah.
And where were you born at, Mr.
What?
Skolarz? What town were you born in?
In River Grove.
River
It's
Grove.
a little town up north, right where O'Hara Field is now.
Okay, where O'Hara Field is.
Yeah.
My name is Cheryl Walker, and I'll be interviewing you. I am with the Illinois Secretary of State, Illinois State Library. Okay. I'm sorry, my throat is,
Too much talking.
I guess. What war and branch of service did you serve in?
Do what?
What war and branch of service were you
I
in?
was in the police action. I don't think it was a war at that time. Korea. In the Army.
Okay, what year?
Pardon me?
What year?
That was 52 and 53.
What was
It's
your...
part of 54 because Truman added another year to us when I was over there. So actually we only spent like 6 months in the Army, you know, for this extra 6 months. Because then you got your tax, you know, relief you got. They let us come home.
What was your rank?
My rank,
Yes.
I made sergeant once. I got busted for not saluting lieutenant, a 90-day wonder. I wouldn't salute him, so he put me on report, and they cut me down to corporal. And that's what I got out with. I didn't want it anyway. The captain I could have re-upped for a year. The captain told me, and you re-up for a year, we'll send you home for 3 months and bring you back. They fly me back and forth. I said, I looked at him, I said, no way. Because Vietnam was right, it would have been, we would have went there from there to Vietnam. And that was only 3 years apart. I would have been dead over there then. It's crazy. The Army's got crazy, the whole thing's crazy. The Army it was fun, but it was still a lot of work. It wasn't nice. That's about it.
So where did you serve?
Pardon?
Where were you stationed? Where did you serve?
I was in the artillery, and we moved back and forth. You know, when our infantry moved up, we moved up. We almost went to China once. Then they pushed us all the way back. That was with the end of it. It started to go to the end, then they pushed us back to that, where the dividing line is now. But we made China. I mean, we made the river. I seen that.
So you were in Korea?
Pardon?
You were in Korea?
Yeah. That was all in Korea. I was there for about 3 months. I had time left over, so they put me in Japan. They put me in an anti-aircraft. I forget the name of it. 90mm anti-aircraft guns. They were only made for World War II. They couldn't fire at jets because our radar would hold them. The guns would be pointing over here. They couldn't move fast enough to knock out a jet. So that was the Army, though. I said, Lieutenant, why are we here? He said, the Army told us to be here. That's why we're here. So what are you going to do? You can't argue with the officers. No. No.
So did you see any combat over there?
You what?
Did you see any combat?
No, just artillery. You know, firing. We were always like 5 miles behind the lines. The only thing we got was mortars on us, you know. They would shoot mortar at us and we would duck and then we'd shoot back. That's all you do. We'd shoot and they'd shoot and we'd shoot and they'd shoot. It was a waste of money. Korea was a waste of money. Big waste. A lot of people died over there. I mean, I think it was like 60-some thousand Americans died in 2.5 years. That's crazy. The only thing is I just busted up my ankle. I got a fused ankle. That's all I got out of there.
How did you do that?
I broke it. I smashed it. They fused it so they take bones out of my hips and fused it so I can't bend my foot. But at least I got the foot. The doctor said that before World War II they would have cut my foot off because they didn't know how to do that. They practiced in World War II. So it still hurts, but when you're too old now.
Did you have something drop on it?
Pardon me?
Did something drop on it? How did you break it?
I don't know. I broke it out there. I don't know how. I mean, in the winter time it was cold. You know, it's like 40, 50 below zero, and it was. I don't know how it happened. I know I woke up and my ankle was all busted up. I don't know how it happened though. Crazy.
Do you have any memorable experiences from being in the Army?
Oh yeah, a lot of things happened to me. After basic, I went to Georgia for artillery school. And then from there, I went to Nevada for atomic bomb. I saw an atomic bomb blow up in Nevada, Yucca Flats. I'll never forget that. They dropped a bomb, or they had it on a tower, and they blew that off. And they had us in trenches, and then that was 2 weeks. And then from there, I went back to Georgia. What else happened? I went to Japan. That was nice. And then I went to Korea. That was nice. I didn't like it, but you had to go. The Army wouldn't let you go. In fact, at that time, my mother was in Canada. My mother moved back to Canada because she was getting old, you know. She met some kids that ran to Canada from Korea. They didn't want to go in the Army. They ran across the border. And they were mooching from door to door. And my mother used to yell at them. She used to tell them. I said, tell them, go back to the United States to go to the Army. Because she and my brothers and all of us were in the service. My brothers, me. Now I'm the only one left. Everybody else is gone. And now they put me in here. I'm leaving here though.
You are?
I'm going to Mantino.
Oh.
That's another place like this because it's closer to home. My daughter can come, my daughter-in-law and son can come over and visit me. And this is too far. It's 5 hours from one way from where we're at to come here. So now if they get me up there, that'll be only a half an hour drive. I don't know.
Did you get any awards or medals?
Just the ones they give you in Korea. I got a little medal from Japan and Korea defense. What else? I got about 3 little medals. Nobody even wears them.
Did you have plenty of supplies when you were in Korea?
The what?
Did you have plenty of supplies?
Oh yeah. The Army gave us everything we needed. All the sea rations, everything. We got everything the Army gave you. You got it free at that time. You didn't have to pay for nothing. Mm-hmm. Now you got to pay for everything. But when I was there, everything was free. No income tax, nothing. Well, there was no money. You didn't have to. You know, again, what was I making? As a sergeant, I made $62 a month. That's a lot of money. $62 a month. Yeah. Now they're making, the private now makes for $800 and some dollars a month. Unbelievable. How do we do it? Well, everything was free. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You had to pay for cigarettes. That was 10 cents a pack. Beer was 10 cents a can. We got a case of beer, or we got two cans every couple of days. They bring them up and give us 2 cans apiece. The cigarettes I used to trade. They didn't smoke at that time. I used to give them away. I'd trade for beer. Guys wanted a cigarette, they'd give me, I'll give you a pack of cigarettes, give me your beer. 1 can of beer for 1 pack of cigarettes. That worked pretty good. But that didn't last long. They finally got me. I had more beer in my sack than anything else. Well, that's part of the game. Everybody does cheating.
Did you see any type of entertainers when you were over in Korea?
Yeah, no, what's that? They send up a bunch of groups, like, so they'd be always from Fancy Girls and a couple of comedians. That's all we ever saw. We never got close to anybody. You know, the name brags, so that was like Bob Hope and them, they don't come up to the lines. They had them way back, away from the lines. But we never got them. We got little guys that come up by us. That was all right. But in the wintertime, they didn't come out. It was too cold.
Did you go anywhere special when you had leaves?
In Japan, we was 7-day iron, so we went to Mount Fuji. We climbed that. Me and these other 2 sergeants, we went up the mountain and we spent a week there. They got an army rest, like a hotel, all army, and the bar opens at 6 in the morning. So you push the bell on. There's a bell right by the doors. By the door, every bed. You'd push that, and a little girl, Japanese girl, come in. What can I do for you? Get me some beer. They'd run down to get the beer and bring it back up. That was nice, and the food was real good there. All American there. We got real milk, because we didn't get milk in Korea, and I never drank nothing but milk. We didn't get milk. We didn't get too much. Well, most of the food was cans, the little cans. You get your CPS, the one the can that opens up like a coffee can. You take everything out of there. You got your little lighter. You open up all your other cans. You have to heat them first, and then you ate that every day. Then once in a while, they'd come up with a truck. They'd bring up some, like chicken or turkey. A lot of turkey they used to give us. That was once in a while. But most of the time it was a sea rations. You ate that for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Now you throw them on a pot. We had a pot, and you boil water and put the cans in there and get them hot, and then you take them out and open them. What are you going to do? That's the Army. That's better than World War II. World War II, they had sea rations. They started off with sea rations in Korea. And they got rid of them and they brought cans out, the little cans. And then now it's better. They got good food now. They got them packs now. You just pour water in it and if it cooks, that's nice. But we don't have that. We had sea rations. It was good though. I know it was good because I went in the Army, I weighed 175 pounds. When I came out, I was 210. So I gained a couple pounds.
Did you, after you got out of the service, do you remember the day that you got out of the service? Do you remember?
It was in September, I know that. I don't know what day it was though. It took me from, well, I got emergency leave too. I came home I got to Japan. The ship came into, what do you call it, San Francisco, Fort Mason. And an officer came up. They called my name and 3 other guys. They were supposed to report to the bulkhead. There was a Navy officer sitting there, and he said, "You guys got emergency leaves." So the major came running up. There was a major that came running up to the gangplank. He wasn't even tied to the ship yet. He said, "Come on, follow me." So he took us through Fort Mason, paymaster and everybody. Then they gave all 4 of us plane tickets. You wouldn't believe the airline. Sky Coach Airlines. That's the name of the airline. the 2-engine World War II transports. It took me 14 hours to get from Frisco to Chicago. I'm not kidding you. The plane stopped at every city that had a cow. All the way from, we went from Frisco down to LA. From LA, we went to New Mexico. From Arizona. Then from Arizona, we went back up north. We were zigzagging back and forth. And then we got to Kansas City. One of the engines blew. So we had to wait like 2 hours to have them fix that. I called up the railroad, not the railroad, they called me a bill. They sent me a bill after I got out for $80. And I said, what's this for? I called them up. And the girl said, well, it's for the airfare. I said, lady, I'm not going to pay it. I said, it took me 14 hours by flight from Japan, from Frisco to Chicago. I could have took an American Airlines or TWA and paid them the $80 and I would have been home in 2 hours or 3 hours. She said, well, it wasn't our fault. I said, I'll never fly with you again. And I never paid them the money either. The heck with that Red Cross. I wouldn't give them nothing. Even now I wouldn't give them nothing. After what they did to me, the Red Cross was nice. When we got on board ship, they had us all lined up on the pier. There were like 4,000 guys. They put us on a World War II transport. It wasn't a transport, it was a cargo hold. And they put bunks in, stack them up 6 high. So we started to move. The guys started throwing up already. We were still in the water. We're not just 5 feet from the pier, and the guys are throwing up. So I went up on deck. I stayed up on deck for the whole ship. It took us 10 days to get to Japan, to Repo Depot, and I was on deck 6 out of 10 days. I was up there 9 times. I slept up on the deck. I wouldn't go down. People were jumping out there. Unbelievable. I got out of there. Then coming home, it was nicer. We had a regular Navy ship. It was all first class. Not first class, but there weren't that many bunks. But there were 4,000 of us going to Korea. The ship was only 260 foot long. That's how small it was, 260 foot. We had all civilian crew because it was a Navy, what do they call that? There was Navy and Army. They got they commandeered ships. They put Navy officers in there, but all the crew are civilians. The one guy said to me, what are you doing here? I'm going to Korea. I don't know where I'm going to go. They told us we Fecon, that's all we got. You're going over to Korea or someplace. That was fun. But unbelievable. I'll never forget that. I'll tell you the name of the ship. The Sturgis. That was the name of it. I'll never forget that. I bet you it sank already. The Japanese probably cut it up already. Because that was bad. 260 foot. We had 4,000 of our troops on that little thing. But that was going to Korea. Coming home, it was nice.
Did you make any long-term friends over there that you kept in touch with after?
No, a couple of I met one kid in Korea. No, I met him in Japan. He was an MP in Japan. And I was walking down, I was half drunk. And I walked into this MT and I walked past him and I didn't care. And it was early in the morning and he turned around and called my name. And I looked at him, I said, he went to school with me in high school. So I got to talk to him. I met him, we spent a day together. And that was it, I never saw him again. Because I went back to Korea and he was in Japan, so. That's the only kid I met that I knew over there. The rest of the guys, they come and go. And some get wounded, some get hurt, and some get killed. You never know. Our outfit didn't lose too many deads. I mean, not too many dead, but a lot of them got, you know, like shrapnel from the mortars. That's all they used to shoot at us, the mortars. And then sometimes you get a piece in your back or your, that was it. But nobody got hurt, killed actually. Because we were too far from the lines. We were like sometimes a mile behind or half a mile behind, sometimes 2 miles behind. It depends on how far you have to fire with the guns.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
The what?
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I don't know. I guess not. There's nothing I can tell you. I mean, its career was a garbage. It was a waste of money, a waste of lives. That's my opinion. And I think a lot of guys that are over there tell you the same thing. Because nothing, we didn't gain nothing. This is, I don't know why. This country lost money and lost a lot of money. That was true. That was politics, I guess. What can you say? It's all politics.
Did you use the GI Bill after you got out of...
No, I should have. I was going to go back to college to get my, get 2 more years. I blew that off. So I lost my, I could have went to, like a dummy, I didn't go. I was making good money, so I wanted to stay in making money. It was good money too. Then I went to construction and made more money when I got out. That was, made a lot more money. And then I didn't want to go to school, back to college yet. I came out, I was about 22. Yeah, 22 or 23. A couple years later I got married and then I forget about everything.
Did you join any veterans organizations after you got out?
I joined the American Legion once. And I joined up and they signed I went to a meeting and they swore me in. And the guy that's in charge, he came up to me and gave me a book of apples. That thick. I said, what are these? He said, well, you gotta go out and sell them. If you don't sell them, you gotta buy them. I looked at him, I said, you gotta be kidding. I gotta buy them if I don't sell them? I said, here's your books. I took my paper, I took the paper that I signed, I ripped it up and put it on his desk. And I'll see you later. And I walked out. I never stayed with him. That to me was ridiculous. My brother-in-law joined her too. He was all everything. He had the gold hat and he went through he was from World War II. And he joined in when he got out. Now he just died, but they put him away. But I mean, but he was everything. He made everything you could think of in the American Legion, besides being a commander. You know, he was almost there, but he didn't make it. He wanted me to always join it. I didn't want it. I told him no.
How do you think the service and your experience affected your life?
The what?
How do you think your service and your experience in the service affected your life?
It didn't.
It did.
No, I lived outside a lot when I was younger, and it didn't bother me to go out, and I liked that. I had to go hunting and fishing and everything. I used to take off and go by myself. There I'd go up with a couple of guys. We went all over the country. I've seen California. The only place I never was up in New York. But everything west and north, up into Canada, we went all over. We liked to fish and hunt. And we were younger and we did it. We took off on our own families. We used to take off and go for 3 weeks. Nobody knew where we were. That was nice. But that was, now it's too old. I'm too old for that. It'd be fun though.